Well, today on My Creative Space, I would like to talk to you about a new business venture and how I came up with the actual concept. Now, I've tried this business venture once before and failed miserably. I came up with a graphic for a t-shirt called like Apex Predator. I created the graphic and thought it looked cool on a shirt. That was the only thought that I put into it. My neighbor at the time, Mr. Dupree, God rest his soul, offered to invest in this brilliant idea. So he bought a heat transfer like $25 and our heat press for $25. I bought like the t-shirts and heat transfers with my design printed on it. So the total investment was like $425. I made negative $350. So I sold like 3 t-shirts, which is god awful terrible. This was like 2012, 2013. The failure turned into a lesson. So while I tell you about the new brand of t-shirt that I've created, I also am going to tell you how to avoid making those same mistakes if you would like to start your own t-shirt line. And you know, it could be profitable. What sparked this creative idea was a quote by Gianni Versace. The quote reads, "In the past, people were born royal. Nowadays, royalty comes from what you do." Now that is so true today. In reality, most of our major influencers of culture are artists like Mr. Versace, and they still inspire long after they're gone. Now, let me give you an example. If I said I'm going to give you $100 to answer these 2 questions, which question would you pick? Question number 1, name at least one Marvin Gaye song. Or question number 2, who was the last king of England? The majority of people would, pick question number 1. Now, Marvin Gaye is more well-renowned than the last king of England in my book. Marvin Gaye and Mr. Versace gained their royalty through, their creativity, not a bloodline. By hard work, determination, they became kings of their domain. So after reading this quote over and over, I started to frame the concept behind this design that I'll be creating for this brand. Mind you, now I have not created any graphics as yet. This is a couple of days ago. So I put more thought into this brand already compared to the previous brand. Did some brainstorming and was really thinking. I wanted this brand to be based on like royalty, through the mindset that we're all royal and that doesn't determine by a BS monarchy or bloodline like the nonsense they have in Europe. As far as they're concerned, let them eat cake. The true kings and queens are taking over the throne. Some of you will grasp that reference. For those who don't, Google Marie Antoinette. I digress. So here's the ideology of the brand thought through. Royalty has 2 definitions. One is the status of kings and queens through blood lineage, and the other deals with sums of money being paid to an individual for his or her creation. So I've combined the 2 definitions to bring forth this concept. This brand understands that creativity is inherent to everyone. In other words, it runs in our bloodline. Now, those with entrepreneurial mindset, hustle, and drive can push their creativity and passion to be their sole source of income. Now, I didn't want it to be some stuffy old English concept brand. I wanted to represent the era I'm familiar with, but also translate to the younger, people younger than me. In order to make it, relevant, the concept has to be universal. Now, I struggled for the name for like hours. So I called my son, told him the concept. I told him I can't think of a name. He came up with this brilliant idea. He said, call it Fresh Air, but play on the homophone of the word air. Instead of AIR, use HEIR. Dope. So here's a quick mock-up of the first design. The first design is available, but I don't want to screw up my money like I did before. So I'm going to use a POD service. Print on demand. They'll allow me to have no overhead, no equipment, no t-shirts, no wife yelling at me for stinking up the house from burning up the transfers. This way I can invest most of my money into social media promotions. I really wanted to share this process because I see so many great concepts and god-awful designs and vice versa. If it's going to be worth your time and effort, it has to translate to what people want and not what you think people want. Do your research, ask family, friends about the idea, use them, as a resource itself. As entrepreneurs, many of us don't have money to hire a focus study. And, with that said, I want you to be the first to order your shirt. So go to troyeverett.net and hit shop. Now we have men's and women shirts in several sizes. New colors and designs will be released monthly, so make sure you check out the social media platforms to see the new releases. And I want to also thank everybody for their support. And make sure you share your pictures and your comments on the design. I'm a fiend for feedback and critique. It only makes me better. Again, thanks for your support. Make sure you like and subscribe. And remember, be creative.